29th.
And we're live.
May 29th.
Yeah, May 29th. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
It's almost June.
Can you believe it?
Wow. Really, seriously, it's almost June.
Crazy.
That's nutty.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, welcome to another edition of, what are we calling this? The Friday My Home Group show or real estate show or
Live feed.
live from our new studio. Actually, we actually almost look like we know what we're doing now. It's a little crazy, but anyway, I'll introduce our guests, even though Jereme needs no introduction. One of the owners of My Home Group, Mr. Jereme Kleven, is joining us today. I'd like to point out that he's actually dressed and not in like gym outfit, working from home.
Feels good.
Neil Brooks,
Does feel good.
who's been in real estate since, I think you worked with Moses, didn't you?
Oh yeah, way back in the day, man.
Right.
I sold him some homes on the other side of the Red Sea, where we had to kind of
The part
it
at first, right?
Is it a flood zone?
Yeah, I was gonna say to get that rezoned.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we
And
did.
of course, everybody knows Mike Marlowe. So, a couple housekeeping things. If you have any questions for either myself or Mike or either of our guests, please go on the Facebook page, My Home Group Facebook page. This is live on there, and we are more than happy to answer any questions that you might have as we talk this morning.
Yes, we love questions, so please ask any questions at all.
Yeah, no, we like it when people, especially when we have the owner with us. I mean, if you have questions about, you know, whatever's on your mind, real estate related, My Home Group related questions. I'm going to talk a little bit today about, I'm going to tell you guys again that I still get this thing called the newspaper.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's like this thing they throw on your driveway and it has news and stuff in it.
Right.
It's very similar to one of these.
How do you scroll it?
Like this. Yeah, it's a little different, but actually, occasionally they have some incredible information in there, and I'm sure all this is available digitally. I'm just old school. I like to read it because I'll actually read it several times. But on May 1st, they had the New Home Central section, and they had some great stuff in here that I'm really looking forward to hearing Neil's response to some of the questions that they think you should ask, or that you should be expected to know when your clients are looking to hire a realtor. These are great questions that, you know, bottom line is, you know, we talk about it all the time, that knowledge is power, especially in this industry. The more you know, the better you look compared to 95% of realtors that don't know jack. And maybe that's extreme, but I've always said that there's just too many realtors out there that really, they got their license, went out and figured, oh, this is going to be easy, and it's just not. I'm in the middle of a really difficult transaction right now where I actually made a mistake and lost my cool with the lender, which I apologize for. I was wrong. The old bucket.
Are you surprised?
Yeah, I was kind of shocked when I heard that, because I know you're such a
calm.
calm, collect, little.
Yeah. Actually, our DB goes, yeah, somebody called me and said you went all Chicago on them. I was like, well, it happens. I mean, so I was wrong, but you know, I just trying to take care of my clients, and I got a little caught up in a moment. So
Sometimes you got to get their attention.
it just happens. It got his attention. That's for sure. Especially since he felt he should call my broker and tell him exactly what happened. And so Larry gave me a little hand slap. So anyway, so let's start with Jereme. We had Mark on, I think, 2 weeks ago. And so we'll kind of format it the same way. Tell us a little bit about how you started in real estate. I know it was you and Mark from the beginning, but you know, I'm pretty sure you were born and raised up in Northern California. And then tell us a little bit about Jereme today.
Yeah, I don't want to make it the Jereme show. I wanted to make it the Neil and the My Home Group show, the Michael and
But you're paying for the camera.
This is my show. Actually, I'm a guest on my own show.
You are, and you're paying for it.
I'm paying to be
For
a
your own
guest,
show.
and I'd invite myself, Neil.
Also, this is our lunch order. Can you sign here since you're in the office?
Hey, yeah, man, I don't want to bore people to death on the backstory, but yeah, I mean, I was born and raised in Northern California, in the Bay Area. Moved out here with my family when I was super young, and
What's super young?
elementary school. So I mean, I'm a native at this point. You know, been out here, I don't know, 30 plus years or whatever it is. So yeah, I'm essentially a native by now, and I jumped into the real estate industry when I was 21 years old. I got my license. I was kind of fumbling around in college, didn't know what I was doing. I just said, I actually grabbed Mark, and we were. I'll keep all the real details aside, and I said, hey Mark, pick your head up off whatever you're doing right now, and what do you think about going to real estate school? And so we ended up getting our license. I was 21, he was 20. And we just jumped in full steam ahead, And one thing that I'm not the most educated person out there. I didn't have a ton of schooling, To be honest, I didn't even graduate college. Not that I'm going to promote that or.
Neither did I. Don't feel bad.
I never even went.
I didn't either.
You and I were defending our country.
Well,
yeah, we were.
Guys.
We
Thank
were.
you guys. Happy Memorial Day to you guys.
At the same time, actually.
Thank you guys for your service. It's awesome.
Anyway, so since you were 20.
So yeah, 21, Mark was 20, and we just dove in. And one thing, like I said, I wasn't the most educated person out there, but one thing that my parents instilled with me or instilled into me was work ethic and how to work hard. And that's all I've ever done. That's all I've ever known.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not the smartest guy in the room. I've always tried to surround myself with people that are smarter than me, and a good team. I've always been about a good team unit, right? Played a lot of sports growing up, and I've always been about the camaraderie and the team and the collective group moving the ball forward. And so one thing I've always known how to do is work hard. So when I was in sales and I was in production, that's what I did. I would go to work every day. I would hustle. I would work long hours. I was committed, and thankfully we built a pretty good sales business. And Mark eventually became the mortgage broker. Got his license on the mortgage side, so we had this kind of two-headed monster thing going for a while. I was a DB around here, if you can believe that, for many years. I know that's surprising.
I worked here when you were the DB.
I know.
Yes,
How long have you been there?
when I first started, he was the DB.
Yeah, so I know that's weird, to think now, but I was always, like I said, the DB, the real estate side. Mark was the mortgage broker, and we kind of had this two-headed monster thing going. And like I said, all we knew how to do was work hard. And so, in the downturn of '08, which I know we're in a little weird thing going on now, we experienced a downturn, like I know you guys all did too. And we got our tails kicked like everybody else out there, and so then we shifted away from the mortgage side and went all in on the real estate side. So we were a small team, really, that was operating as a form of a brokerage, or a brokerage that was operating like a small team, I should say. And it was really in 2012 where we noticed and recognized, I know you probably did the same thing, that we recognized that we were through the worst of it and through this major downturn, and a lot of people were still asleep at the wheel at that time, if you remember. Thankfully, we made a good choice at the right time to say, hey, look, we're going to put the pedal down and try to grow a brokerage, expand our footprint, surround ourselves with great agents and people that want to grow, and we knew that we had a lot to give, right?
And were you active realtors at that time?
Oh,
active
yeah.
agents?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at the beginning, you're everything. You're everything in your business. We were agents in production. I was the DB. We were providing support. We were putting people through orientation. We were trying to recruit and attract and grow, and business development and accountants. And we were doing everything,
Man.
And so we were doing everything, and we were doing it all manually too. We didn't have systems. We didn't have technology. So we were just trying to push our way through. And like I said, all we really knew how to do was work hard. And I know you're taking some shots at agents, saying the majority of them obviously are kind of somewhat fly by night, but that's one thing that we always have tried to curb against and push our way through, and like I said, just being committed and work hard and be dedicated, And so we knew that would give us a leg up over anything else.
So would you say that the fact that you were an athlete and played on different teams definitely kind of crossed over into your business when you were first starting that whole team?
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree
definitely.
with that.
Yeah, I mean, I talk to my kids about this to this day, just the other day, even when like in a life setting, right? I think it's all top of mind for us right now, this, what do they call it, The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, which I haven't even watched. I haven't even watched
I'm a big Chicago Bulls fan.
I'm waiting for like a weekend, with no kids, and just like block out a whole day or two and just like power through the whole thing.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do that. But one of the things I was just talking to my kids about, and this is what I've always tried to do as well, is that leaders make everybody else better around them, right? And good leaders are rarely, I mean, of course you see it, generally speaking, good leaders are never like the ones that say, hey, look, I did it all.
Right, it's all about me.
It's all me. I'm the best. I did it all. No, right? It's about, hey, look, I'm surrounded by a great team. I couldn't be here. That's the thing. Mark and I, very humbly and thankfully have been invited into, Inman or speaking here, speaking there, and it's never about like, again, we're the ones as the owners that say, hey, look, hey, can you guys come, do this? But it's not about us, right? Like it's about our team and like the power of our team. And I mean, we can't give our team, our staff, our brokers and closing department and marketing, everybody just works their tails off. You know what I mean? Like they don't have, we've developed systems over time. We've developed technology over time, but they didn't have that. Like they are rooted in knowing how to work their tails off to do what needs to be done, and then we can all get there. So again, yeah, just I tell my kids, hey, look, stop picking on your younger brother. Like you need to help him get better, right? Like good leaders help them get better. They don't hold them down, right? Like we lift people up.
That's right. I've been here 5 years, and I can tell you, these guys, that they always do that. They're always saying, we wouldn't be here without you guys. We really, they're always giving back like
That's
that.
bullshit. I don't think they're right there. I've been here longer than anybody. I'm not buying that bullshit. No, it's obvious that, we're sitting actually in a room that used to be the closing department, and, and
Now they have their own office.
yeah, not like they're like a
Separate,
separate place.
It wasn't big enough.
Right.
Actually, where they're at now was the original My Home Group office, which was smaller than the room we're in right now. When I first joined the brokerage, it was really small. Anyway, so I can personally say, because I'm agent number 86 out of 2,586 where we're at now. So I saw that growth, and there's no doubt that team, starting with you and Mark, and then that hierarchy of now this is a team that's helping this, and then there's a team that's helping, and it's just like a pyramid. It's just gone crazy since I've been. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome, and it's not like you can fire me, so I'm not trying to save my job or something. It's true. It truly is that way. So before we get into anything else, Neil, why don't you tell us a little bit about your kind of story and where you came from and.
All right. I don't want to bore everybody, but
That's the disclaimer, right?
Yeah.
You were actually born in a prison, correct?
Yeah, the number. Yeah, right. The number of 20 people will probably go down to 5 by the time I'm done. I hope not. But I have a question for you first.
Oh
John.
yeah, turn the tables.
Turn the tables.
Turning the tables.
We love questions.
Yeah.
When you got up this morning and you picked that shirt,
Red.
did you think of our backdrop when you picked that shirt?
No, I always wear red on Fridays.
It's
to support
perfect.
our troops. Is
You're
that the same
matching
color?
it perfectly. Yeah,
wow.
it's exactly the same color.
I'm colorblind, so
So
my
that-
wife has my red shirts in one area. So
Oh,
I
she
know-
does.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know you had that.
Yeah, so you're actually picking on someone that's handicapped.
I know.
Thanks
God,
a
I'm
lot.
sorry. Ugh. See, that's part of the thing. You got to be careful what you say when you're a real estate agent, right?
Yeah,
But anyways,
thanks for pointing out that.
Yeah, no, all kidding aside, it was funny because, number one, I was a late bloomer to real estate. I didn't get into real estate until I was in my 40s, so I was like twice your age when you got into it. And interestingly enough, it was another national tragedy that put me into real estate. I was working as a salesperson
A resort or something.
at a resort in Scottsdale, where I brought in national meetings and regional meetings and all that kind of stuff to the resort. I handled pharmaceutical companies, so consequently, most of my clients were New York and New Jersey. So, anyways, long story short, 9/11 happened. And when 9/11 happened, I actually had my license a little bit before then, because I was thinking of maybe making some kind of a change at one point. But when 9/11 hit, that job absolutely shut down, as it is right now. Everybody knows right now that the hospitality industry is completely shot right now. That's exactly what happened in 9/11. Now, in 9/11, though, that was temporary, but we didn't know at the time.
Right.
And I couldn't get on the phone and call my clients in New York and New Jersey and say, hey, how would you like to come out to Scottsdale for a week with put everybody on a plane, fly your whole group out here? So that was a non-starter.
Yeah, that wasn't happening.
Yeah, no, it was not happening. And kind of like the country was with COVID-19, everybody was in denial at first that well, at least in my industry, that things were going to be shutting down for quite some time, and it took years for that to recover. So it was basically desperation and fear that put me into real estate full time. We had just closed on our house. We're still in the same house, by the way, and it's almost paid off. I got like 5 more payments.
Oh,
Wow,
nice.
that's fantastic.
Yeah, I know, it's gonna be cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but so we had just bought the house literally a week before it had closed, and it was a little bit more than we wanted to spend, but I thought, yeah, you know, everything was cruising along, and I had all my clients set up. I'd been doing that for 10 years, so I mean, I had all my clients laid out. They knew who I was. It was, you know, it was much easier at that point. I'd already done all the hard work for the first 10 years, right? So that shut down immediately, so we had like no revenue coming in. I mean, none, with our new house. And we were looking at losing our brand new house that we just moved into, being financially devastated, and who else, you know, what else could happen from that? So it was a very fearful time. Got into real estate, got my real estate license, and now the rest is history. Here I am. So,
Wow, so
that was
full
it.
time right out of the gate. That's
Full
awesome.
time, man. Full time. I just started hitting open houses. Every weekend I did an open house for the first 5 years.
Yeah, so maybe you can get into that just a little bit, like what you did, because I'm sure there may be some viewers out here thinking, you know, okay, you started from literally nothing.
Right.
What did you do to get going? So open houses is one thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I had. Well, what I did is I would do an open house, and I figured, okay, because I had no money. I mean, I literally had no money. And so the only thing I had was myself and hard work, just like Jereme was saying. I've always been a hustler too. I came from a family that hustled. I mean, you know, my parents right away had me, you know, cutting people's lawns, and well, you know, you start by having to do stuff around the house, then you move into cutting lawns, and I was a newspaper boy, and I worked in a kitchen washing dishes, you know, as a kid, working your way up and all that kind of stuff. So I always hustled, so I had the confidence that I knew I could work hard. And I always felt that, I mean, you probably feel the same way, is, you know, you can be the dumbest guy on the planet, honestly, but if you work your ass off, you can't help but succeed. You know what I mean? You don't have to be maybe that was a bad way of putting it,
No,
but
exactly.
you don't have to be,
It's consistency over time.
right,
Consistency over time. I mean,
just sticking to it.
I love the little phrase, you know,
Yeah, learning from
will
people.
over skill.
Will over skill, I like that.
Like, you can develop the skills over time, right? The sales skills, the different skills that it takes to be successful. But if you have that will, a lot of times people come to us, right? Like, oh, I've got this big degree and I want this
Right.
fancy job, but okay, are you willing to do this A, B, and C? No, not really willing to do that.
Yeah, I don't think that'll work.
Yeah,
Not
right,
for me.
Right. It's like, well, you can be super educated, but if you don't have the will to work, then
Yeah,
Right.
I love that will to work, because you can't stop when something doesn't work. So when it
Right.
fails or mistake or it doesn't work, so if you have a bad open house, you can't give up.
No.
You have to have that will to keep going and to learn what's working, what's not working. I had a similar experience, because when I started, I borrowed $80 to get 10 open house signs to start my real estate.
Right, exactly.
I lost everything through a divorce, through the whole downturn, all
Oh,
that
yeah,
stuff.
just
So, but it was that will, you know, that
Fear.
I knew how to work. Yeah, a little bit of that, but definitely I knew how to work. I knew how to get out there and do that, and I didn't give up. That was the main thing, because it felt like sometimes it wasn't working, but I started to learn what was working, and I didn't just give up after it didn't work for a while.
Right.
Thank God it didn't, because
how often are you fearful now still?
Probably every day.
Totally normal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably every day, because you just never know. I mean, but it's you can manage that stress, you know, because you know you have the tools to go out and make it work. But
I think people are afraid of fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that especially, you know, I love this next generation coming up. People want to slide on the millennials, but you know, they bring a different skill set, but you know, which can help them be successful. But I also think that they want to be more comfortable than ever, right? I know we all want to be comfortable, you know, like
Right.
we all want to be, but they really want to create this comfortable life, and they have fear of fear, right? And
Right.
and they're sometimes I think we all get caught in this. If you're going to get into this industry, kind of like Johnny, like you were saying right out of the gate, you better be prepared to not make some money for a little bit of a
Oh, yeah.
time. How long
100%.
are you willing to not make money?
Right, and work
You know?
twice as hard and make zero money.
Right.
Right, and that's something that, I would think that the average realtor is gonna go at least 6 months with probably not making a penny and spending a lot of
Unless
money.
you strike gold, which happens.
That's right.
Time
It can
and
happen.
Generally speaking.
I don't know that I agree with that time period.
Well,
I
you can
think-
strike gold.
Yeah, and
Right.
I think, because you and I came in the same boat.
Right.
I pushed all my chips in the middle and said, this better work.
Right.
Or I'm screwed. I don't know how I'm gonna feed my kids. the
That's
whole thing.
absolutely right.
And I sat open house every day.
That's
every
right.
day. I went to some class somewhere in the morning, and then I was sitting open house somewhere. I found a great listing right on 64th Street, signed it all up, went out and bought signs, a table, a laptop, and a thing to connect to the internet, a hotspot there.
Right.
And just did it. But here's the thing, I think, I would cut that in half and say 3 months. And because if you're working, and you're really putting in the effort, it'll come. I think,
Should be able to get
6 months
something.
yeah, I think after 3, you'll get something.
I think
You'll
it's
get something.
I think it's
going.
prepare for the worst. and
6
hope for
months
the
is a
best.
good,
Right.
yeah, figure, hey, I gotta make it 6 months. I didn't have that, I had 3 months. I was like, I gotta make money in the next 3 months, or I don't know how I'm gonna feed my kids. And it's amazing what you'll do
Oh, God, yeah.
when
Yeah.
it's like life or death.
If you have the will, like you
You're gonna
said,
feed your kids,
you
yeah.
really can make things happen, you really can.
That's where all that guerrilla marketing came up, when I was standing at the grocery store at 9 o'clock at night handing out flyers. And,
Right.
It was like, you do whatever the hell you have to do. So, kind of like you and Mark, when you started this thing, you guys didn't know, I'm sure there was no way you ever dreamed it would be what it is today.
Right.
I
Well,
mean, you might have had goals and aspirations, but, I know you guys pretty well. I don't think you ever thought it'd be to this point. Now I think you're seeing things way past this.
yeah.
But I think the day you and Mark, hung the shingle, you were like, dude, what if we could actually make money doing this?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it started rolling, and then you change. And Mike, same thing with you. And when you got in, there's been so many changes, and the business just changes. It evolves. And along your point with the millennials, they do get slighted because the way they do things is different. Doesn't make it bad.
Not at all.
It's
yeah.
just different.
Yep.
It's different than, certainly Neil and I are the same age, so it's certainly different than the way we saw things. And Mike, I think you're a little closer in age than Neil and I, so.
And that's the thing, I'm not
Okay.
that far off from the millennials. I know
Right.
my crispy head over here, shows different, but I'm not that far, so I'm a little bit of this kind of hybrid type of a thing.
Right.
I feel like, so.
Yeah.
We were young enough when the technology, I think, took off to adapt, and I think that now in this industry, like, we're forced to adapt.
We are.
We don't have a choice now.
Yeah,
We better get on board.
I
Don't
think
care how old you are.
I think the
right?
millennials are maybe smarter than all of us, because they've found a way to make life work without as much effort as we had to put in. They have technology that saves time and
Which
effort.
we all love too.
We're learning, like Neil and I talk all the time, and I always mispronounce Insta-chat and Insta pictures and
Instapot.
instant, face,
Don't pretend.
face chat and all
I
that
see you
stuff.
doing stories on Instagram. Don't you pretend.
Joey showed me how to do that. But yeah, we can slide them all we want, but really the stuff they're coming up with is really, really smart, and they're making the processes better by using technology that we didn't have. So I think we have to pat them on the back. The one thing I think that they may suffer in, and not all, is that work ethic. I think that work ethic has seen a little bit of a dip because things come a little bit easier,
Well, they also come overnight.
and they come fast.
We
and
click
furious.
a button and it arrives at our front door the next day. We're all getting conditioned.
That's the
all of
expectation.
us. Is that it's going to happen quick.
Right now.
It's going to
Instant.
happen overnight. I'm going to do a thing, and this is going to happen.
Oh, that's a
I'm
great
gonna do-
point. That's
it's
a
gonna
great
happen,
point.
You know what I mean? So, like I said, when I was talking about how long, I think when you get into this business, to the folks, the agents that are listening to this right now, or maybe the folks out there that are thinking about getting into this real estate industry, is a willingness to put in the work and know that it's not going to happen, a willingness to not make money, or as much money as we want to make,
Right.
right, for who knows how long, possibly years.
It could be.
Are you willing, you know, and Neil, I mean, how long, I mean, without disclosing to the world, you know what I mean, like, how long would you say that it took for you to be making the level of income where you were comfortable?
I would say it probably took me 5 years.
So 5 years.
Yeah.
Here you are, one of our top agents out of 2,700 agents that we have, saying that it took 5 years to build to where you had a comfortable business.
That's correct, and to add to that, a lot of the people that are coming into real estate, or people that are in real estate, didn't have the sales experience I had. I had 10 years sales experience before I came into real estate.
Yeah.
So I kind of had some of those tools already. And even yet, it still took 5 years and literally every day for 5 years. I didn't take a day off, and that's probably not healthy. And I constantly work on trying to balance that work-life thing. But I do hear a lot of times people come in and say they want to get into real estate so that they can pick their hours and they
Yeah,
can,
right?
right, and things like that. And in order to be successful in real estate, you really, you know, you got to try and balance it, but you really can't say, hey, I'm going to work, you know, this day from this time to this time, this time to this time. You have to go with the needs of the public and the needs of your clients.
You know, it's funny because people ask me, well, what day do you take off every week? And I go, you know, if I take a day off, it's usually Tuesday, because
Mhm.
Monday's my follow-up from the weekend.
Right.
I can't tell you the last Tuesday I took off.
No.
It just
Well,
never
it-
happens. It's
No.
like-
Because a lot of them treat it like a job, and it's really not a job, it's a business. And
It
so
is.
your business is open all the time.
And
Right.
now that you're
Real estate
working from
doesn't shut
home,
down.
you're at work.
Yeah.
Right.
24/7. I mean, if you're not going to an office, you know, I like actually going to an office because I just stay focused, and you know, for me that's my own personal thing. But owning my own business since 1986, I worked from home forever. But I was at work all the time. I was up until 2, 3 in the morning going, oh, I got a meeting at 8. Maybe I should go to sleep. And you know, it's hard. I don't know that that's happening now with this generation. I think because everything happens so fast, like you were saying, I think that whole thing may have changed a little bit.
Well, I think if there's anything that's been constant in the 20 years, and I can't believe it's been 20 years I've been doing real estate, is that it's always changing.
Yeah.
Always changing, and then something completely out of left field will throw you off track as soon as you're on track. So you have to be Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. You got to jump over that candlestick. You got to be able to be quick and fast and change things. That's why you guys have stayed in business, because you haven't rested on your laurels. You guys are constantly changing, constantly evolving. And that's what real estate's all about.
Well,
We
it's
just
the old
got hit with
cliche.
it, right?
The old
So COVID
cliche.
just came
Right,
right at us.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old cliche, it's not the strong that will survive, but the ones that can adapt will survive. right?
Very true.
You know, so, yeah, we've always tried to.
That's why the military adopted that.
Yeah.
Adapt, readjust, attack.
Right.
Yeah,
That's a military, you know, that's
I didn't
why
know
the
that,
military's
but,
on.
yeah.
it is.
Yeah, there's
Do
always
we have
something
any
changing.
questions out there, by the way? Any questions?
Yeah, is there
at
any
all?
questions coming in?
I got one question about whether or not open house. So I'm just let me answer that one real quick.
Like, are they
As far-
working during
like,
COVID?
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, that's totally your call. I'm doing them, and I haven't gotten any violent, repercussions or anything. Nobody's like pissed at me or. So it's kind of your call. It's tough to do an open house in a house that's not vacant right now because, you know, there's a family in there and people are going to come in and touch everything. I can see how that would be difficult. But I could come up with 1,000 different scenarios on why to do an open house, and I could come up with 500 why not to. The fact is, I could come up with more saying, yeah, do an open house, do it. Wear gloves, have a mask.
Bracelet.
The secret that I've had that's really working for me is I tell folks when they walk in, look at, I've got a mask if you want me to wear it. I've got gloves. I've already gone through the house and opened up every cabinet and every door. If you want me to open something up, just please ask me and I'm glad to. Or everybody take one of these disinfectant towels, and if you have to open something, please use this. People are pretty respectful of it. So
I think, yeah, it's all about adapting and things. And what I was thinking about for some of the agents out there that are thinking of potentially starting up their open houses again and how best to handle that. You know, first of all, it's your demeanor when you're talking to the people when they come in. So what my suggestion would be is to open up the garage, make sure the garage is absolutely clean and pristine, set yourself up a table out there. It's going to be hot, but you set yourself up a table out there, outside. Maybe have a covered area that people can come in and they see you when they're driving up, sitting in the driveway, not in the house. So, or I'm sorry, inside the garage and not the house. So you could open the house up and let people go in the house by themselves. You greet them when they go in. Hello, how are you? You have protective gear and things like that. And then let them go in the house on their own and walk around. And when they come out, just give them a card and make a connection. Because that's all open houses are about, is making that connection. And right now with the heat and with COVID-19, there's still, we all know, a strong demand for buyers right now because of lack of inventory. So I think this could be a huge opportunity for agents out there, but you just have to modify the way that you are doing that open house.
Take precautions.
adapt.
Right.
Just adapt.
We're you know, as a My Home Group organization, we're in 9 states right now, and obviously we're coming at you here from Scottsdale, Arizona.
Right.
You know, where it is a little bit warmer.
It's only 110 today, I
It's only
think, right?
110. So I think that, you know, when you're sitting in a hot garage on the verge of heat stroke, it's a way for people to feel sorry for you and maybe give you some business.
Absolutely. They're going to say you're
Whatever it
hustling.
takes.
Yeah. No, you know what?
This guy will die for me.
That's right. And you don't, yeah, and you don't have to dress up. You could wear something comfortably that's appropriate for that. You know, you don't want to wear gym shoes or well, you could wear gym. I mean, that's what I'm wearing. But I'm saying, you know, you could dress some way to make that happen, have a fan in there, do whatever.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. That's how I got my first listing. When I knew nothing about real estate, is
Same
because
with
I
us.
was sitting in an open house.
Same thing with us.
And what I did is I went out before I did my open house and I knocked on doors, which, you know, you can do that or you don't have to do that. But I was knocking on doors.
to do that.
Yeah, you might not do it today, but what you can do is you can put a letter on their doors inviting them to your open house. And when people see you hustling, they go, I want that person to sell my house, because
Absolutely.
realtors have a well-deserved reputation many times of getting a quick commission and not really getting involved that much in that whole transaction. And so sellers and buyers walk away thinking, oh wow, that person made all this money. So they have that perception. And when they see you hustling in an open house, they go, I want this guy to sell my house, or I want this woman to sell my house. So I think they're a great idea right now.
I can't tell you how many instances I've heard from agents doing exactly what you're talking about, or repeatedly holding an open house in the same home open
Over and
multiple
over.
days in a row, that the neighbors are like, wow, this person knows how to work hard and they can work hard for me. Countless stories.
And I think about what you have in the open house too. So like, it is important. So bringing value. So it's not just, when I first started doing open houses, I just had a flyer and a chair,
Right.
and my 32-ounce Pepsi, and it was like, okay, when they came through the door, I'd almost attack them, because at the time I was like, yeah, I was broke. I was really chasing the commission. Once I changed that, the whole mindset to be like, I'm here to help. I'm actually genuinely want to help you and provide information. So I had active, listings pending. I had the Altos report. I had so many different things.
A lender that you talk to.
Yeah, right. So when they come through, they had all this information, not only about the house, about other properties in the neighborhood, but all that different things. They really start to say, well, I want this guy to sell my house. Look at all this, look at everything he's doing to try to sell this house. That's the type of person I want to work with. So.
Right, and then today we have so many tools, and this is going to get back to the millennials out there, where you can use these traditional real estate, proven real estate actions that work, and you can blend that with the tools that you have today that we didn't have back in those days, and even crank those open houses even that much more and make them that much more effective.
Can I throw something out here? And it's what I believe the basis of this entire organization is. This industry that we're in is a people business. It's a relationship business. So we can talk all day about how computers are involved now and all. It still goes back to face, looking somebody in the eye and saying, here's what I can do for you. This is the service I can provide. You know, I mean, all of the technology, yeah, it helps. It's great. It's awesome. I'm using it. We're using it. It still comes down to being it's a relationship.
Well, look what happened in
business.
our market, right? I mean, again, we're number 5 market in the entire country, and I would argue that we are the number 1 market in the entire company or entire country when it comes to what we like to call disruptors or technologies
Oh,
or
yeah.
iBuyers.
Oh, yeah.
or
Absolutely.
All the revolutionary models, they all start here, right? And
They do.
we don't need to get into why, but
No,
that's the case, right?
But I can tell you why.
So, well, price point, number of transactions. You know
No,
what
but
I mean?
there's another factor to that. Did you know that every chain, eatery, Popeye's Chicken, and all the, there's 2 places they check the United States first that they try stuff out: Austin, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona. Do you know why? Because there's more people from other places living in those 2 places in the United States than anywhere, so they can get a real, definitive answer on whether or not a new product or a new chain is going to work nationwide by testing it in Austin and Phoenix. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Oh, no question.
So it goes right into the same thing with
in
real
Phoenix,
estate.
and then you add in the amount of transactions that we have on a yearly basis, the
Yeah.
price points that we have. You know what I mean? So all these factors, lead Phoenix to be one of those top markets. So, what I was going to say is that they all start here. All these disruptors, the iBuyers, all the things. Again, a lot of our markets around the country and many markets that we're not in, they don't even know what we're talking about.
No.
Right?
Right,
They don't
right.
experience this thing. But what happened? What happened when the first little bump in the road, and I don't mean to discredit, like when the first bump in the road came, what they do? They all pulled out, they
They
all
shut
said
down.
bye-bye, they all shut out, and who's left? The people that are here, that are on the ground, that have the relationships, that have the history, that are still here and working hard, right? And so, again, some of these principles that we've been talking about, we've all known forever, they're getting pushed to the forefront right now more than ever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I agree.
So
There's one magic word. Seriously, and I've been touting it since we started doing this. There's one magic word, and that's fiduciary. You cannot be a fiduciary and handle both sides of a transaction. It's impossible simply by the definition. You just can't do it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up the word fiduciary and then look how fiduciary is supposed to be part of your job. You can't do it if you've got both ends of the deal. You just can't do it. It's
Yeah.
impossible. So, and getting back to your point about how as soon as the road got a little bumpy, what happened? They yanked, they pulled out.
Yeah.
Do you know how many houses they gave up and just gave up
Yep.
their earnest money?
Yep.
They just get out now.
Well, and
you know?
there was a lot of damage done to their reputations as well because they were buying a lot of people's homes who made commitments to go buy other homes, and they had
Full
no
blown.
problem
It's not
just
emotional.
yanking that,
Yanked it right up.
and that was it. Plus, there's the whole other factor of how if you're a first-time home buyer, you might be a veteran or something like that, competing with, an iBuyer company that has unlimited amounts of money out of San Francisco. I mean, it's so unfair that inventory is being taken out of the market, and in many cases they're being sold to other big institutions that rent them out. So it's taking all this away from first-time home buyers and veterans and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting to see as things go forward how those types of companies are going to be viewed with the general public. Are they really providing a service to the public? Yeah, you can get your home sold instantly and all that kind of stuff, but you pay for that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting just to see how that goes. But you're right, as soon as there was a bump in the road, all that stuff just boop, shut down. But I understand now that they're
coming back.
coming back again.
Which
They're going to
again-
go for another roll.
Right, which again, I mean, you have to, I think, look at that as a good sign.
Oh, yeah,
Overall-
absolutely, I do.
Overall, for the economy, for the real estate market, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Again, they're gonna, I don't want.
Well, I'm not
obvious-
bashing them, but
Yeah,
I guess I
yeah.
am a little bit,
Yeah.
but not really.
I think that we have to look at, I look at through the lens of opportunity.
Right.
And they're going to serve a certain group of people.
A sliver of people.
That are looking for a quick sale, that
Right.
might want to do it easy, might not want to have show. Yes, there's a price to pay for that though too.
Correct. But
And
it's a
if I
product
want-
people
If
take.
I want it quick, and I want it easy, and I want to, all these things, and okay, then I'm going to have to sell it for
Right.
less than the market value, right?
Right.
Or you get with a professional, like
Or you're gonna
couple
pay a
you
lot on
guys,
the tail end
hey,
for
look,
fees.
you guys know how to make it easy too. You guys know how to communicate. You guys know how to be transparent and provide
Right.
a high level of service.
That's correct.
Right? So you can do and offer what those guys can offer, right? But you
Right.
can still help them achieve market value and true representation, right? So we have to be communicating those things. It's our responsibility to communicate that to the general public.
Right, and I think that's part of the issue is that us as realtors do need to be better at communicating all of the different things we do for the public, not just open doors and show houses and all that. That's a very, very small part.
Very small.
And it's
part.
hard to convey that to people until they actually get out there. And like Johnny was saying, the human touch comes into play. Where our real value comes in is when you get deep into a transaction. When somebody has to be able to advise this client to maybe take their emotion out of this part here so that we can get and achieve the goal that they want. So you really have to be able to listen well,
Absolutely.
and you have to be on top of things and anticipate problems.
Such a slippery slope. too.
It's a
I mean,
very slippery
You get
slope.
first-time home buyers in the transaction, and the closer you get to close of escrow, the more they're like, "Oh, we're almost there."
Right.
You gotta say, "Come
Gotta
on,
tamp it down."
Slow. We're not there yet. I mean, we have a lot of reasons to be excited, but let's wait. Let's get this inspection over with, or we gotta get an appraisal. The
It
appraisal's
takes
next
years.
step.
It
and
takes years
like
to
you
get
said,
there.
The values in the fiduciary and
Right.
the representation, the values in knowing a contract that doesn't get any shorter, it only gets longer as the years go by.
Better,
Right.
better though. They
Better.
make a good change.
And counteroffers and addendums and benzers and spuds and timelines and contingencies and all these moving parts and factors and lenders and title and home inspectors and there's a lot of components.
And
that
it
go
all
into it.
has to work perfectly.
Right.
And you as the agent have to be that person in charge, making sure that all goes. Because if it doesn't work, guess whose fault it is? It's
Yeah.
yours, and you have to accept responsibility for that.
You're exactly right. And that's what I was going to kind of double down on with as well. Kind of where I was going is that we as agents have a responsibility to be that professional, to be that leader.
That's
It's
right.
not to ever force someone. The last thing I ever wanted to do was talk somebody into buying something.
right.
Oh, right.
Or
You're never
talk somebody into
selling. Yeah.
Right, but we do have a responsibility to help lead in the true professionals. I hear you on the phone, man. We're in the same office, Neil.
Mhm.
You talk, you got a nice booming voice. I hear this guy on the voice, you got a nice booming voice. You guys are professionally leading people. You're planting the seeds of what's to come. You're foreshadowing of what's to come because
Right.
you've been there. It's the same thing when we go to our dentist. We don't go to, hey, the dentist doesn't say, hey, Neil, what do you want to do today?
Right. That's true.
Hey, Johnny, what do you tell me? What do you want? No.
I'm out.
No, yeah, exactly.
See
I
ya.
prefer not to be here. I'll see you later. They say, hey, look, this is what needs to be done, right?
Right.
This is what I'd recommend. Not that you have to, but like,
That's a great analogy.
right? Like they lead the way of what is going to come and or what needs to be done.
Well, and experience speaks. When you've been to the movie before and you know how the movie ends, when you get those people in there. I mean, let's remember, on average, every 5 years, people buy a house. So for 5 years, that's 365 days a year times 5. Somebody do the math. They don't think COE or Binzer or SPUDs. They don't get all these acronyms and all this stuff that we talk about all the time. And that's where, if you listen to Neil, and I won't put myself in the same category, you guys can if you want, but you'll constantly hear guys that have been around a little bit's going, hey, the next thing's gonna be a SPUDS. That's actually a seller's property disclosure statement, and tell them exactly what it is.
Use their
Because they don't
terms.
do it every day. I mean,
Right.
if you're talking about cameras and they do this every day, they probably, all kinds of acronyms we don't get. That's one thing that I see totally stands true throughout and if you do that in the beginning, they're like, oh, yeah. Because some people don't want to ask. They're like,
Right.
it's stupid if you
Yeah.
don't know. What's a COE? What do
Right.
you think that is? You know?
Right.
When simple. So
But honestly, the hardest part of all of this, and we all know this, is getting the clients in the
Oh,
first
yeah.
place. You know, and that's really what it focuses on. That's what you really got to focus on, man.
So let's talk about that for a minute, because
Yeah.
I think that'll tie in to having Jereme here. So it is my belief, and I'm a little jaded because I'm an OG here. I've been here forever, and I love my home group and all that. But here's the thing that my home group provides that any new agent, experienced agent, and I see a lot of experienced agents in your office lately that have been around moving over here, that is a given with my home group, okay, as to the size of the brokerages, the percentage of business that we have in the valley. All that stuff is extremely helpful when you're out trying to get clients. Well, let me tell you a little bit about before we even talk about me, let me talk a little bit about the brokerage we're with. And all over this building, there's data, there's graphs that you can put in your listing presentation and say, hey, you gotta like me, but let me show you from a base standpoint what MHG has done, and that's awesome. That's a huge help to our agents. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a testament to, we set out, years ago to try to create a brokerage, a platform where agents and teams can run their own business, right? Have the freedom and autonomy to build what they want to build, and we're here to support that. We ultimately want to, surround ourselves with great people, want to do great business, want to be around for a long time.
How did you get it?
That we had an off week that week. We're not perfect. No, we love this guy.
I should be asking how I get it.
I mean, Neil, you like what's the word, encapsulate? Does that work?
It works for us.
Okay, it works for these. I mean, seriously, you are like what a My Home Group agent represents.
Thank you.
Ruggishly handsome, a true professional. Producer.
Somebody asked if George Clooney
Well,
was
you're
in
high
there.
energy.
I swear to God.
You're always willing to help.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, really. I mean, that's
Thank
just
you.
things we've seen over the,
Thank you.
that you do, and Johnny as well. I mean, Johnny's always
you
saying,
guys.
"Hey, my door's open. Come in. If you got a question, I'm here."
You guys are true ambassadors of My Home Group, and we're thankful for.
We'd
people like
love to
you.
hear ourselves
You know what
talk.
I mean? Yeah.
We're just
But I mean, you guys have huge hearts. You guys
Thanks.
care. You guys try to play like tough guys, but you guys have huge hearts, and you guys, like I said, you guys care. You pay it forward. You're open books. You share. You collaborate, and that's everything that we set out to create. Is an open forum where we can all collaborate and grow and thrive off each other and thrive off our energy and have a healthy level of competition.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Celebrate success and have a healthy level of competition,
Mhm.
and knowing that A players want to be around A players, and you got, it's just what we're all trying to do together. That's really what we tried to set out to do,
Well, one of the things I really was attracted to My Home Group was just the commitment that you guys have. And you and Mark were really open and nice to me. You guys weren't pushy. And when I came over, and I mean, we've been talking for a couple of years.
Yeah, we've known each other. Yeah,
For a long time, and but I was with another company at the time. But you guys were totally cool about it and all that. But when I came over here and I saw just kind of the energy and the dynamic company that it was, and honestly, having a majority, I think, are probably millennials that work here. And I loved that energy. I came from a much bigger company that has like thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of agents. And what I was really excited about with this company was the fact that you have thousands of agents too, but many
But
more
not
of them
thousands
are.
and thousands and thousands.
Right, but they're producing
Not yet,
agents,
anyway.
much
Yeah.
more producing agents, and it was a little bit, it was a little bad for me, because at the other company I was number 2, and this company I'm like number 15, you know what I mean? So it was a
You're
little
such a
bit,
freaking
yeah.
loser, bro.
What's that?
You're such a loser.
I know. But you know what? But that just goes to show that this company has got, it's cutting edge. And I mean, when you talk about iBuyers and all that kind of stuff, I know I was a little bit on them because I work with a lot of veterans and stuff like that. But the fact of the matter is, I think one of our teams here represents one of those big iBuyers.
Yeah.
And in fact, that was on national news today. Did you see
Oh,
that?
no, I did not.
Yeah, the My Home Group sign was on CNBC this morning.
Wow.
It
Who
was
the hell
right
watches
there.
CNBC?
Oh, man.
CNBC,
That's
man.
awesome.
I
That's
know.
awesome.
Well, you know,
I deleted that
I'm
channel.
I'm the token liberal, and
Hey, it's all good. No, we're not gonna even go there.
No, that's okay. That's
Really,
okay.
my home group sign was on the national news?
It was. It was this
Awesome.
morning. I was drinking coffee, and there it was. Bam on
What
the
team
news.
was it? We
That's
can say
awesome.
that, can't we?
It's the
Lawton team.
Yeah,
The
the
Lawton
Lawton
team?
team. Yeah, the Lawton team.
They're on the top of the board every
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great people too. so.
Great people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's
great
a,
human beings.
that's a what a great segue into what
Yeah.
what this company has created. I mean, look
Right.
at the Lawton team.
Yeah. I got another little news, drop for you guys. We haven't even announced this yet. It'll be coming,
Thanks,
coming,
bud.
coming next
Oh.
week. Hey, we're live. Let's drop a nugget for everybody. But we literally just yesterday got recognized by Real Trends as the number 2 brokerage in the state of Arizona for transaction size and transaction volume.
Wow.
Which is
Pass this
again,
around.
Yeah,
Nice.
again, we're not. You mentioned someone with thousands and thousands and thousands. They of course are number 1 with all due respect to them. Great organization, obviously
Sure.
built, but there's a couple others in Arizona that are bigger than us for agent count. But like you said, for when it comes down, when you look at the production,
Size and
we're
transactions.
we're ahead. So it's pretty unbelievable.
That is very,
Yeah.
well, it's not unbelievable. Actually, I'm not surprised a bit. And to see, though, that you're getting it in all areas, you're getting the larger transactions,
Right.
like the luxury type of stuff, but you also have the volume.
Right.
So, that doesn't surprise me at all.
All right, I got to stop us for a
Okay.
second because we got 5 minutes. There's a couple things that are really important. I
Okay.
think we need to cover. Okay.
Okay.
Kelly asked me, so Johnny, are you going to cover more COVID stuff this week? And we're trying to stay away from the COVID conversation. We've all adjusted. If there are questions COVID related, like whether to do open houses and stuff, we'll post my number on here. You guys can call me, or I'm sure Neil will put his number. We can talk about all that. But I think in general, people have made their adjustments to COVID. And I got to be honest with you, I think we're at the tail end of the whole COVID.
It's
thing.
starting to, yeah,
Kind of.
but I mean, like
Kind of.
after this meeting, we're all gonna go get our gel and we're gonna do.
Yeah, I was gonna
our
say,
hands
we're
and
high
all
fiving,
that.
we have hand sanitizer, so we're all good
Right,
here, so.
right. We wanna be safe. We do wanna be safe.
I caught Neil out licking shopping carts the other day. So don't.
Oh.
Here, you want this one, sir?
But I'd love to drop some numbers if you guys want to know some stats on where we're at.
Drop
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, no, so,
Okay, thanks. So, no, I'm just
That was classic.
Seven.
yeah. No,
Next week's show by
Again.
Mike Marlowe.
yeah, like I said, we're in 9 states, but the bulk of our business, with my home group is in Arizona, and then specifically Phoenix Metro. We're across Arizona, but the bulk of our agents and our transactions are in Phoenix Metro. So again, it's primarily in one market center, but like I said, we're doing deals in nine different states and 20 plus markets. When we all got stopped in our tracks in March, we as we all are used to, especially here in Arizona, the spring selling season,
Right.
Where things are going to start to, we're through the holidays, we're through January, February, March is when you're like, okay, it's
Now it's time to get back to work
Right.
again.
It's Willie Jackson, it's
Right.
Phoenix Open,
It's all of
it's
that.
spring training,
Right.
it's everyone coming to town,
Right.
it's great weather, it's time to buy and sell, right? So we're used to this, this peak, and so we were trending up, for the month of March, but ended up finishing about 8% down for new escrows for the month of March, when we should have been up. So it's probably about a 18-20% swing that we were down from February to March.
Mm-hmm.
From March to April, we are down another 15%. Okay, so you figured in 2 months we are down 23% when it should have been up. So you figure 30, or so percent down. Right now, from April to May, we're almost 30% up
Oh,
Wow.
Wow.
in overall contracts.
That's huge.
For
Year over year.
new escrow, no, for month over month.
So it went like this, and then we did have a V.
When people like to talk about is it going to be a V-shaped recovery or is it going to be more like a U?
For my home group, it's a
now,
view.
From
It's a
right,
V.
yeah. From right now, from my home group, thankfully, it's absolutely been a V.
Perfect.
So I predicted when they opened up restaurants and bars and let people get out of the house and that everything would change from a mental standpoint. Literally, people like, okay, I'm not handcuffed to the radiator at home. I can actually get up and go outside. That everything would change.
You're showing your
And it's been
age.
so
Radiator.
true.
You just showed your age.
Why? What I say? Oh,
I'm
radiator.
handcuffed to the radiator. Then I gotta go out and crank the car to get started.
All right, I'm handcuffed to my PC, but I truly believe that as soon as that happened, the mentality changed, and that's the biggest difference.
Right.
Would you agree right now that agents should be out of the gate right now, right? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
the things are opening. Just last week we had a lender in talking about how the DPA programs and all the other programs starting to open up again.
Mhm.
So they're, that's opening up. So hopefully, if you're an agent in there, you should be out of the gate now. You should not
Oh,
be
yeah.
behind the gate waiting. You should be
Mike,
out there.
I had somebody in my office the other day, not a young agent, an agent with a little experience, talking about this and that and the other. And I asked a couple of really simple questions. I said, well, who's your lender partner? Well, I deal with two. I said, well, who's your title partner? Well, I have this one and a friend. And I said, okay, and who's your home warranty partner? Well, I said, stop. Pick. Make a choice.
Right.
Make a choice. Pick the lane you're going to be in, and then like a NASCAR race, just fucking blow it out. Pick your lane. We've got multiple home warranties. My choice was Shelley Carr, one guy. Shelley, how can you help me do this? My choice for title was lawyers. Kim, this is what I'm looking for. How can we do that? And just get in the car, put it in gear, and roll. Quit.
It's called leverage, right? It's back to surrounding yourselves with people that are better than us,
And
right?
my home group
Right,
has set it
yeah.
up. I mean, every partner in the world you need to help you get business.
right.
There's at least two options of everyone here, I believe.
yeah,
Except
absolutely.
for, I think there's like a
Everything.
solar person that we have only one. I mean, but pretty much everything, there's at least two to choose from. Pick them and go. And if you want to know about each one, call me, or call somebody else. Who do you pick on this and why? Get the answers to those questions and stop waiting. Get in the car and go. Do open houses. If you want business, seriously, gun to your head, Neil. You need to pick up a client by Monday. Gun to your head. What are you doing?
I'm gonna go sit an open house.
Me too.
And I'm gonna go to the neighborhood the day before I do the open house. I'm gonna spread letters inviting all the neighbors to come to my open house.
And I'm going to do it
I
opposite.
should
I'm going to
use
go to
the
all their
spread.
houses after my open house. That's my thing.
I thought you were making a joke that you're going to go
I
after
was.
he goes.
No,
Tell him not to go.
Yeah, don't use that. No, that's why when neighbors come into my open houses, I treat them like gold because I'm
Oh,
doing
God, yeah.
I'm doing open houses to get listings.
They're
I'm gonna
interviewing,
get
man.
buyers. I'm gonna
They're
get buyers
interviewing.
anyway. But you do an open house, you're there to get listings. That's like, when I'm done with my open house.
Yeah.
Any neighbor that came over, I'm going over going, hey, let me show you how many people came by. You know, anybody in this area that thinks they might want to sell, I got 8 names right here of people that want to buy in this neighborhood. What's better than that?
But you guys are both open house masters, and that's
Right.
the thing, is you can't just do one function and think that this is going to work. How can you compound the effort?
Exactly.
Right?
That's the
like, hey,
secret.
look, I'm going to do an open house, but then I'm going to put it in all these channels, and I'm going to text, and I'm going to email, and I'm going to invite, and I'm going to door knock the neighborhood.
Exactly.
Like, so you do it one function, but you have all these different other activities to help. What
That's
they call
right.
it? What do they call it? Circle prospecting.
We got like 1 minute and a half, so I would say each of you leave us with one thing. What would that one thing that you could tell
Hopefully
everybody?
not these socks.
Dude, these are amazing.
Seriously, where'd you buy
Well, we don't
them?
need
Well,
the
you
Sox
start,
fan, so
you
that's
start.
not- I'll start. Well, I'm a
Yeah,
Cubs
you
fan,
start.
he's a Sox fan, so that says it all right there. Cubs, Sox, go Cubs. No, if I was going to leave you one thing, is get out of the gate, get going. You have a tremendous amount of support here at my home group. If you got questions, ask, and get out there. Start doing the things that you're good at. If it's calling your database, call your database. If it's open houses, start doing open houses. Just take the precautions you need. That would be one thing. Get going now. Don't wait. Get out of the gate now.
Yeah, I would like to say, I would agree with that 100%. I'd also like to say there is so much pent-up demand out there right now. It is just chomping at the bit. And the people that are going to get out there and do, like Mike says, what you do best, and do it every single day, and get out there and don't let anybody knock you down. Don't get disenchanted. And for sure, don't get lazy. Just get out there and do it now. Now's the time.
Yep. I got three things.
Okay.
Three things that, we just did a dose series on this, that I think are more important right now than ever before, whether we're going through, or hopefully we're on the tail end of what we've all been going through,
Right.
or not. But it's more important than ever, and we talked about a couple of these things: mindset, work ethic, and our skills.
Yep.
Right? Controlling our mind when it gets hot, or we're going through things, or we're frustrated.
Stressful.
Controlling our mindset. We're not perfect. We waver, right? But if we're committed enough, we can get back on track. But controlling that mindset, again, like we talked about, the work ethic is to me is more important than ever. We can separate ourselves from the competition by simply working hard and being committed over a period of time will get the results. And then skills, the skills, and we could go on and on about skills. We talked about some, listening skills and hearing what people actually need and what they're trying to achieve, communication skills, sales skills, forecasting, or the psychology of sales skills. Like, we could go on and on about that. But work ethic, mindset, and skills more than ever.
Awesome.
Same thing we always say, get up and go to work. Get up and go to work. Don't let everybody know you're an agent. I was at a golf tournament one time, and this guy comes up with this hat. I don't know if you guys can read that or not. And I'm wearing this hat everywhere I go.
Want to buy a house?
Want to buy a house? I mean, what better advertising is there? Let everybody know what you're doing. All right, I have some business that I forgot to take care of, so let me do this real quick, because he's an attorney, he might sue me. Okay, so Wednesday at 11 o'clock. Wednesday at 11 o'clock, our in-house counsel, Dax Watson, will be hosting class on the advantages of placing your license in a PLLC or a PC. PC is like a computer, isn't it? Okay. Anyway, that class is, it's my understanding, has been well attended, and there's a lot of great information. And it's free. He can't charge you for
And
it.
can I say something really quick?
Hang on one second. It's free, and he can't really charge you to watch the class. There is a fee for him to set it up, but the education that you get, the knowledge you get on how that, I did PLLC myself, and I didn't have anybody to tell me how to set it up or anything. I did it myself, and it was a pain in the ass. So and he's in-house. How many brokerages do you think have in-house counsel?
Allegedly, there's one.
Us? There you go.
Yeah, no, I've got a lot of experience working directly with Dax over the years.
That's because you've been.
Yeah.
Do enough deals, deal with enough people.
It happens.
Things happen.
It just happens. And Dax is an amazing counselor, amazing advisor, and you should really go to his class and heed his warnings and advice, honestly.
The thing I'll say to it real quick is that we're all business owners. If you're in the real estate business, a real estate agent, you are a business owner, and you have to walk, talk, act, operate like a business, and you can't just be receiving, payments or commissions, to you as an individual, right? You need to be receiving it, to your PLLC or to your PC, and then operate like a business and run expenses and manage, it should be 100% across the board that people should be operating like PLLC.
Wait till somebody trips in your open house.
Right, you'll figure it out.
Right, real fast.
Can I tell you real quick? I gotta tell you a story. So the person I had in my office the other day, I was talking about doing open houses, and she's like, well, this, that, and the other. I said, I think I throw somebody out of one of my open houses every third open house. She's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's your, throw it out. Get out.
Out.
Who would decorate their house like this? Oh my God.
Get out.
Get out. I don't need you here. You're negative energy. Get out. So, all right. So, since the boss was with us, we're allowed to go over. So, I want to thank you so much. Actually, so truth be known that I coach with Jereme outside work, and I do coach his boys, and we got clearance to play. So
hopefully we'll get
I've been
on the
seeing
field.
this guy in shorts and
Yeah.
workout clothes, and it's really nice to see you all snazzed up.
Hey,
But
it
thanks
feels
for
good.
hanging
It feels good.
hanging with
Thanks for
us.
coming.
Thank you
I've been
guys.
seeing
Thank you.
Neil.
You
Normally
bet.
Neil's got a
My
mask
pleasure.
on, and he's got like this
My pleasure.
spaceman suit.
Oh yeah, I
Like
was
once a week.
geared up. I was geared up.
And let's all once again, always as we always should, thank Kelly for
Yeah.
putting out all the
Being our
information
engineer,
on the
being
camera,
Kelly.
being our sound director and all that, and not rolling her eyes too much on stuff that we say. So she's like, oh God, Johnny. So
Oh, yeah,
anyway,
that's
we appreciate
distracting.
it, and that's it. We'll see you next
All right.
week.
All right, see
All right,
ya.
here we
Have a
go.
weekend.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Good. You get enough?